In this lesson, we're going to look at getting extra practice just setting the problems up in terms of B field directions and the forces acting on wires in typical test scenario type situations. So what I have here for you is there's these first four problems. You're going to be utilizing the IDL cross R hat in the Biot-Savart law to get the B field directions. And for the long straight wires, you're just going to be using the fact that the magnetic field strength is given by mu naught I on 2 pi r. Now, in question 1, what you're being asked to do is take current I1 and figure out which direction the B field is acting at point P. Take I2, also figure out the direction the B field is acting at point P, and then think about the net B field at point P relative to, again, mu naught I on 2 pi r. All right, for the second question, you are again looking at current 1 and current 2 making B field. So current 1 will make B field out here where I3 sits. Current 2 will make B field out here where I3 sits. And then think about IL cross B for the force acting on current 3. For the third question, simply, which way is the current flowing in the solenoid? Is the current flowing in this direction, or is the current flowing in this direction? So is it going from the top to the bottom, or the bottom to the top to make this B field? And what I would like you to do in this fourth question is to put in an actual XY axis at the point P. So put in a little XY axis here. And then again, we have three currents, the current coming out of the paper, the current going into the paper, and the current coming out of the paper, I3, will all make B fields at point P, draw in those B fields, and the question, if it were to continue, would be calculating the net B field at that point in space. So I'm going to pause the video here now for you, let you try those problems. When you unpause, we'll go and look at the solutions, or I'll show you the solutions. So pause the video, try these four. Okay, hopefully we've unpaused, and here are the solutions. So take a look at these solutions. We are going to go over them in detail together in class. Make any notations where something does not seem correct to you. Hopefully, by looking at the solutions, you can see what you did correctly and what you did incorrectly, but we are definitely going to talk about them in class together as well. Okay, we have a couple more to do. So we have three more to do here. On this page, we're looking at that three-dimensional perspective on a two-dimensional sheet of paper. So here, the current is flowing straight down in the negative y-axis. So this is our y-axis. Here's our x-axis. The current is flowing straight down. The first thing you need to do is figure out in which direction does the B field point at the center of this coil. Now over here off to the right, we have the coil sitting in the z plane. So the coil sits in the YZ plane. You're given that the current in the coil is running in this direction. So then you're going to hopefully get your n hat vector and think about rotating the coil based on the n hat vector and the external B field. For question 6, you are again given a current to consider that's going to make B field. It will make B field that will interact with the top part, section 1 of the loop, the left-hand section 4, 3 at the bottom, and 2 further away from the wire out here. So just get the B field directions first, and then think about the force acting on each of the four sections and which forces cancel out, which don't, which force is greater, and about the net force acting on that loop. And the last one you have to consider is where you're given, again, the same loop where the current is now in the plane of the page, and you're just given an external B field to the right. So think about, again, identifying the n hat vector and how this coil would rotate, and think about the forces, right? The IL cross B's that these forces are going to have on the wire. So again, force 1 refers to the force acting on section 1, 2, on section 2, 3, and 4. So again, I'm going to pause the video right here and let you attempt to get all your vectors and address the forces in these 3 problems. And when you unpause, we'll take a look at the solution. So pause the video. Okay, hopefully we are unpaused and ready to look at the solutions. Again, we will talk about this in class, but here we have the rotating coil. That n hat vector will want to align with the B field. So again, we'll go over all the specifics in class rather than have this video be super long, but you can certainly pause the video here, take a look at the solutions, make your notations as to questions, if there's questions as to why things are the way they are, and we will, of course, talk about them in class and go over them in detail. These are all typical test question type scenarios that you will possibly see.